For 75 years, this explosive Plato manuscript was buried and banned until now. Inside, a radical secret about the soul's journey beyond death and its mysterious return to earth. Why did the powers that be silence this truth? What if everything you believe about life and rebirth is about to change? You probably know Plato as one of the towering figures of Western philosophy, his ideas shaping how we think about knowledge, justice, and the soul itself. His dialogues have been studied for centuries, framed as timeless wisdom that laid the foundation for modern thought. But what most people don't realize is that a crucial part of Plato's teachings has been hidden from the public eye, locked away, erased, or outright banned for over 75 years. Imagine this. Beneath the familiar surface of Plato's known works lies a manuscript so radical, so profound, it challenges everything you've been taught about life, death, and the soul's journey. This isn't just academic speculation or a dusty footnote in philosophy. This is forbidden knowledge, teachings that were deliberately buried by powerful institutions who feared what such revelations might awaken. You might ask yourself, why? Why would such a monumental discovery be suppressed? What if the truth about the soul's return to earth threatened the very foundations of religious doctrine, or the established order of society? These questions cut deeper than any casual curiosity. They demand that you reconsider the very frameworks that have shaped your worldview. The story begins in 1948, when a lost manuscript, now known simply as the Return Dialogues, was discovered in a forgotten library vault in Athens. Covered in dust and written on fragile papyrus, it contained dialogues between Plato and his closest disciples, conversations never before known to modern scholarship. The dialogues explored not just the nature of the soul, but detailed the soul's cyclical return to life on earth, a concept far more explicit and detailed than the sparse references scattered across his other works. What you must understand is this: Plato's philosophy as you know it, the eternal, unchanging forms, the immortal soul, was only part of the story. The Return Dialogues reveal a dynamic cycle, a spiritual rhythm of death and rebirth that ordinary people were not meant to fully grasp. This was a secret teaching reserved for initiates, those deemed ready to see beyond the veil. But here is where the veil grew thicker. Soon after the manuscript's discovery, it vanished from the public access. Scholars who attempted to study or publish its contents faced fierce opposition. Reports tell of academic censures, missing pages, and even whispered rumors of meetings held behind closed doors to decide the fate of this dangerous knowledge. Official records were altered. References to the dialogues were scrubbed from philosophical catalogs and university syllabi. What if you've been taught a version of Plato sanitized to fit comfortable narratives? Imagine walking into a great hall of knowledge only to find entire chambers locked tight, the keys lost or hidden. What would you feel? Frustration? Curiosity? The slow, burning suspicion that you're missing something vital. This is the sensation that surrounded the Return Dialogues for decades, an unsettling knowledge that you are not allowed to know. What if the soul's cyclical journey is the missing link between ancient philosophy and modern spiritual understanding? What if this knowledge, once revealed, could lift the shadows of fear around death and rebirth? The sensory experience described within these pages of souls moving through realms of light and shadow, awakening and forgetting, returning and learning, feels less like abstract theory and more like a living, breathing reality. Can you feel that? The pulse of something hidden, beckoning you to remember. But there is more. What the manuscript hints at is not merely reincarnation as popularly imagined, but a complex interplay of memory, identity, and cosmic purpose. The soul's return is portrayed as an awakening, a shedding of veils, a journey back toward an original light that is simultaneously ancient and immediate. Imagine if the very act of living is an echo of something much larger, a cycle of learning and transformation that transcends your present existence. Here's a breadcrumb for you. Within the dialogues lies a cryptic phrase, the echo of the eternal flame. What does it mean? Why was this phrase repeated like a mantra, only to be erased from later copies and references? Could it be a key to understanding not just the soul's journey, but something deeper, a hidden force that animates all life? Another mystery. Early drafts of the manuscript included a dialogue entitled The Guardians of Memory, discussing who or what controls what souls remember or forget between lives. This section was removed, never to be published. Who were these guardians, and what did they want hidden? What if forgetting is not a flaw but a deliberate veil meant to protect or control? You are now part of a small circle. Those who see beyond the mainstream, those who recognize the faint light beneath the layers of censorship and silence. This is exclusive knowledge, a treasure buried beneath centuries of orthodoxy. You won't find it in textbooks or popular philosophy courses. Instead, it waits for those willing to question, to peel back the layers, and to accept that reality might be more fluid and mysterious than you ever dared imagine. What if you let this knowledge seep into your consciousness? How would it change the way you see your life, your fears, your future? Would it shift your understanding of death from a cold end to a warm beginning? Could this ancient wisdom be the key to awakening that many have sought but few have found? And yet, the manuscript remains shrouded in secrecy. Its original location, rumored to be a hidden chamber beneath the ruins of the academy, has never been fully excavated. What if the true heart of Plato's teachings lies buried, waiting for the right moment, the right seeker? This is just the beginning. The historical context you've entered is a labyrinth, a maze where every turn reveals more questions than answers. But these questions are your guideposts. They pull you deeper into a story where philosophy meets mysticism, where light pierces through centuries of darkness. You are standing on the threshold of an awakening. The teachings that were banned, the truths that were erased, they are stirring again. And once they awaken in you, you will never be the same. Here it is. You've likely encountered Plato's philosophy as a realm of abstract ideals, forms that exist beyond our sensory world. This mainstream narrative emphasizes the soul's immortality, but often leaves it as a static, unchanging essence. In dialogues like Phaedo, Plato discusses the soul's eternal nature and its journey through life and death, suggesting a cyclical process of rebirth. But what if there's more beneath the surface? Plato's lesser-known dialogues, such as Phaedrus, delve deeper into the soul's journey. Here, he introduces the concept of the soul's transmigration, describing how souls lose their wings and fall to earth, entering a cycle of rebirth based on their previous experiences and knowledge. This isn't just a philosophical metaphor. It's a vivid depiction of the soul's literal journey through various incarnations. Imagine if this knowledge had been suppressed, hidden from mainstream teachings. The myth of air, concluding Plato's Republic, narrates a soldier's near-death experience, revealing a cosmic system where souls choose their next lives, influenced by their past actions. Why would such profound insights be marginalized? Consider the implications. If souls are reborn, carrying memories and lessons from past lives, then our current existence is part of a much larger continuum. This challenges conventional views on life, death, and morality. What if the knowledge of our soul's journey has been deliberately obscured? In Meno, Plato introduces the theory of anamnesis, the idea that learning is recollection of knowledge the soul already possesses from previous incarnations. This suggests that our souls have traversed multiple lifetimes, gathering wisdom along the way. Why has this concept been downplayed in modern interpretations? Perhaps because it empowers individuals to seek truth within themselves, challenging established authorities and doctrines. Now, reflect. If your soul has journeyed through countless lives, what lessons have you carried into this one? What truths lie dormant within you, waiting to be remembered? Plato's dialogues hint at a reality where the soul's progression is central to understanding our existence. By exploring these suppressed teachings, we can begin to uncover the deeper truths about our purpose and destiny. Before we can grasp the full power of what was hidden, you need to see what Plato actually said, what was stripped from public view, and why it changes everything you thought you knew about the soul. Imagine standing at the threshold of a revelation that challenges everything you've been taught about life, death, and the soul's journey. Plato's lesser-known teachings, often overshadowed by his more widely discussed theories, delve into the soul's cyclical journey through reincarnation, a concept that has been both revered and suppressed throughout history. In his dialogue, Phaedrus, Plato presents a vivid metaphor: the soul as a charioteer guiding two horses, one noble, the other unruly. This allegory illustrates the soul's struggle between reason and desire, and its quest to ascend to the divine realm. When the soul fails to maintain balance, it loses its wings and falls to earth, entering a cycle of rebirth until it can regain its former glory. Plato further elaborates on the soul's journey in the myth of air, concluding his Republic. Here, he describes a soldier named Air, who, after a near-death experience, recounts a vision of souls choosing their next lives based on their past deeds. This narrative emphasizes the soul's agency and the moral implications of its choices, suggesting a system of cosmic justice that governs the cycle of reincarnation. Central to these teachings is the concept of anamnesis, or recollection. Plato posits that all knowledge is a form of remembering truths the soul knew before its incarnation. This idea implies that learning is not the acquisition of new information, but the rediscovery of eternal truths embedded within the soul. The soul's journey is not arbitrary. It's influenced by its previous experiences and choices. In Phaedrus, Plato suggests that the soul's ability to regain its wings and return to the divine realm depends on its pursuit of truth and wisdom. Philosophers who dedicate their lives to such pursuits may achieve this return in a shorter cycle compared to others. However, these profound insights were not always embraced. Over time, certain interpretations of Plato's teachings were marginalized or suppressed, possibly due to their challenge to established religious doctrines and societal norms. The idea of the soul's transmigration, with its implications of personal responsibility and the potential for spiritual evolution, may have been seen as threatening to institutions that relied on rigid hierarchies and dogmas. Consider the metaphor of the spindle of necessity from the myth of Ur. This cosmic spindle, turned by the fates, represents the structure of the universe and the soul's place within it. The spindle's rotation signifies the inescapable cycles of life and death, emphasizing the soul's continuous journey through different existences. Another compelling image is the river Lethe, from which souls drink to forget their past lives before reincarnation. This act of forgetting underscores the challenges souls face in recognizing and overcoming patterns from previous existences. It also highlights the importance of self-awareness and the pursuit of wisdom to break free from the cycle of rebirth. Reflect on this. If your soul has journeyed through countless lifetimes, what lessons has it carried forward? What patterns are you repeating, and what truths are waiting to be rediscovered within you? Plato's teachings invite us to view life not as a singular experience, but as a chapter in an ongoing story of the soul's evolution. By understanding and embracing this perspective, we open ourselves to deeper self-awareness and the possibility of transcending the cycles that bind us. These lost teachings, once hidden or dismissed, now resurface to challenge and inspire us. They beckon us to look beyond the surface of our existence and to seek the eternal truths that lie within. As we delve deeper into these ancient insights, we may find that the journey of the soul is not just a philosophical concept, but a personal reality, one that calls us to awaken, remember, and transform. But knowledge this powerful was never meant to remain in plain sight, because what came next shook the foundations of everything we thought we knew. You have seen glimpses of Plato's teachings on the soul's journey, its descent, return, and the cosmic cycle it traverses. But what if these profound insights were deliberately veiled, their full depth obscured by layers of interpretation and institutional oversight? The question isn't merely academic. It's about understanding why such transformative knowledge was sidelined and what that means for you. Plato's dialogues, rich with metaphors and allegories, often hint at deeper truths not explicitly stated. The concept of anamnesis, or recollection, suggests that learning is a process of remembering eternal truths the soul knew before birth. This idea, while central to dialogues like Meno, was not always emphasized in later interpretations. Instead, the focus shifted to more tangible aspects of his philosophy, leaving the mystical elements in the shadows. One reason for this shift was the rise of allegorical interpretations, especially during the Neo-Pythagorean and Neoplatonist periods. Philosophers like Numenius believed that Plato intentionally embedded Pythagorean doctrines within his dialogues, accessible only through deep allegorical reading. This approach, while preserving some esoteric elements, also made the teachings more abstract and less accessible to the general populace. As Christianity spread, early church fathers grappled with Platonic ideas. While some, like Origen, were influenced by Plato, they often reinterpreted his teachings to align with Christian doctrine. The concept of the soul's pre-existence and transmigration was particularly contentious. Over time, such ideas were deemed heretical, leading to their suppression. The Council of Lateran, for instance, condemned views that contradicted the immortality of the soul as understood by the Church. This institutional stance had profound implications. Teachings that emphasized personal spiritual journeys and the soul's evolution were replaced with doctrines that centralized authority and prescribed a singular path to salvation. The rich tapestry of beliefs about the soul's journey was reduced to a linear narrative, limiting personal exploration and understanding. Moreover, the allegorical reading of Plato's works became dominant, especially during the Renaissance. Thinkers like Marsilio Ficino interpreted Plato's dialogues through a Christian lens, further distancing them from their original context. While this preserved some of Plato's ideas, it also meant that certain teachings were recontextualized or omitted to fit prevailing religious narratives. The cumulative effect of these shifts was a gradual erosion of the original teachings on the soul's cyclical journey. What remained were fragments, often misunderstood or misrepresented. The deeper insights into the soul's nature, its trials, and its path to enlightenment were obscured, accessible only to those who delved beyond mainstream interpretations. Now, consider this. If such transformative knowledge was systematically sidelined, what does that say about the narratives we've been taught? What truths lie hidden beneath layers of interpretation and institutional doctrine? And more importantly, what happens when we begin to uncover them? The suppression of these teachings wasn't merely about controlling philosophical discourse, it was about shaping perceptions of existence, purpose, and the soul's potential. By limiting access to these ideas, institutions could maintain authority, dictating the parameters of spiritual understanding. But the resurgence of interest in these suppressed teachings signals a shift. As more individuals seek deeper understanding, the veils begin to lift, revealing the profound insights that have long been hidden. The journey of the soul, as envisioned by Plato, offers a roadmap to self-discovery, transformation, and enlightenment. In reclaiming these teachings, we not only honor the philosophical legacy of Plato, but also embark on our own journeys of awakening. The path may be challenging, filled with questions and uncertainties, but the rewards, a deeper understanding of self and existence, are immeasurable. So, as you reflect on these revelations, ask yourself, what truths have been hidden from me? What potential lies dormant within, waiting to be awakened? And am I ready to embark on the journey to rediscover the soul's true path? But before you can understand what this means for you, you need to see just how far this truth was buried and why. What if your life isn't a singular journey from birth to death, but a chapter in an eternal narrative, a soul's odyssey through time and existence? Plato's teachings on the soul's transmigration challenge the conventional understanding of existence, urging a reevaluation of life, death, and the very essence of being. In dialogues like the Phaedrus and Phaedo, Plato presents the soul as immortal, undergoing cycles of rebirth to attain ultimate knowledge and purity. This concept, known as metempsychosis, posits that the soul's journey is not linear but cyclical, each life a step toward enlightenment. Such a perspective shifts the focus from a single lifetime's achievements to the cumulative growth of the soul across multiple existences. This cyclical view introduces the concept of personal responsibility extending beyond a single lifetime. Actions in one life influence the circumstances of the next, echoing the principles of karma found in Eastern philosophies. The idea that one's deeds have repercussions beyond the immediate life instills a profound sense of accountability and encourages ethical living. Modern spiritual traditions often reflect these ancient teachings. The notion of twin flames, for instance, resonates with Plato's idea of soulmates, two halves of a single soul seeking reunion. This belief underscores the soul's quest for completeness and the transformative power of love. Furthermore, the resurgence of interest in reincarnation and the soul's journey indicates a collective yearning for deeper understanding. As individuals explore these concepts, they often experience a shift in consciousness, perceiving life as a series of lessons and opportunities for growth rather than a finite existence. Embracing these teachings can lead to a transformation in how one approaches life. Challenges become opportunities for learning. Relationships are seen as mirrors for self-discovery, and the pursuit of knowledge becomes a sacred endeavor. This paradigm fosters a sense of purpose and interconnectedness, aligning with the ancient wisdom that the soul's journey is one of continuous evolution toward the divine. In contemplating these ideas, one might ask, what lessons is my soul seeking in this life? How do my actions today shape my soul's journey? Am I living in alignment with the eternal truths that guide the soul toward enlightenment? These reflections invite a deeper engagement with one's inner self and the mysteries of existence, suggesting that the path to understanding lies not in external achievements, but in the soul's awakening to its true nature. As the veil lifts on these ancient teachings, the invitation is clear: to embark on a journey of self-discovery, to embrace the soul's eternal quest, and to recognize that within each life lies the potential for profound transformation. There's a reason some truths aren't written. They're whispered, hidden in symbols, buried in allegory, waiting for those with eyes to see. Wait till you find what Plato never said, but always meant. What if the dialogues you've read were only the surface, carefully crafted masks concealing deeper truths? What if Plato's most profound teachings were never written down, but transmitted orally to a select few, hidden in plain sight within his texts? Plato's dialogues are renowned for their philosophical depth, yet scholars have long speculated about the existence of his unwritten doctrines, teachings so esoteric that they were reserved for oral transmission within the academy. These doctrines, referred to as agrapha dogmata, were considered too profound for the general populace and were believed to delve into metaphysical principles that underpin the very fabric of reality. In the Republic, Plato presents the allegory of the cave, a narrative that has captivated thinkers for centuries. While commonly interpreted as a commentary on enlightenment and ignorance, some scholars suggest it also serves as a coded message about the soul's journey and the layers of reality. The shadows on the wall, the ascent into the light. Could these be metaphors for the soul's progression through various incarnations toward ultimate truth? Further intrigue arises in the Phaedrus, where Plato discusses the concept of the soul's immortality and its cyclical journey. He introduces the chariot allegory, depicting the soul as a charioteer guiding two horses, representing reason and desire. This vivid imagery not only illustrates internal conflict, but also hints at the soul's struggle across lifetimes to achieve harmony and ascend to the divine. The myth of air, concluding the Republic, narrates the tale of a soldier who glimpses the afterlife and the process of soul selection for reincarnation. This myth underscores the importance of choice and moral responsibility, suggesting that souls are architects of their destinies, shaping future lives through present actions. Moreover, the concept of anamnesis, or recollection, permeates Plato's philosophy. He posits that learning is the soul's remembrance of truths known before birth, indicating a belief in pre-existence and the soul's journey through multiple lives. This idea challenges conventional notions of knowledge and existence, implying that the soul carries wisdom accumulated over eons. These philosophical breadcrumbs suggest that Plato embedded profound teachings within his dialogues, accessible only to those attuned to their deeper meanings. The use of myths, allegories, and symbolic language serves not merely as literary devices, but as vehicles for transmitting esoteric knowledge. As we delve deeper into these texts, questions arise. What truths lie hidden beneath the surface? How do these concealed teachings align with or diverge from established interpretations? And what implications do they hold for our understanding of the soul's journey? In exploring these mysteries, we embark on a path of discovery, peeling back layers of meaning to uncover the wisdom Plato may have reserved for the initiated. The journey promises not only intellectual enrichment, but also a transformative perspective on existence and the soul's eternal voyage. Now, as we stand on the edge of understanding, it's time to turn inward, asking the questions that could forever change how you see yourself and the path you walk. You stand now at a threshold, one few have dared approach. Imagine for a moment what it means to hold in your hands knowledge hidden for centuries, a secret whispered across millennia, now unfolding before you. This isn't mere information, it's an invitation to awaken, to see beyond the veil that has long obscured the deeper truths about life, death, and the journey of the soul. Ask yourself, how would your life change if you truly embraced the idea that your soul's story doesn't end with your last breath? What if death is not a conclusion, but a passage? What if every experience you've lived, every challenge faced, every joy savored, is part of a much grander cycle, an eternal dance of growth and transformation? You've been taught to view life through a narrow lens, shaped by limits imposed by society, culture, and tradition. But what most people don't realize is that this lens has been carefully crafted to keep certain truths hidden, suppressed for reasons that are only beginning to come to light. You're no longer ordinary, and this isn't ordinary knowledge. You are among those who see beyond the surface. Imagine the weight lifted from your shoulders when you begin to understand that mistakes are not failures, but lessons. That pain is not punishment, but a guide toward deeper wisdom. This lost wisdom challenges you to rethink your personal responsibility, not as something to fear, but as the sacred work of your soul's evolution. Picture the ripple effects on humanity if we collectively embraced this understanding. Could the cycles of violence, greed, and despair that have marked our history begin to dissolve? Could compassion replace judgment, curiosity replace fear? The implications stretch beyond the individual, reaching into the very fabric of our shared existence. This is not a distant, abstract idea. It's alive within you, waiting to be recognized. The ancient philosophers who dared speak of the soul's journey knew this. They understood that transformation is not a passive event, but a conscious choice. Now, that choice stands before you. What if this awakening could break the chains of ignorance that bind not just you, but generations to come? What if you hold a key that unlocks doors others have been too afraid or too blind to open? You will never see your life or death the same way again. This is a beginning, not an end. Now, the question